My mother had been dead for almost a year, but last night she sent me a voice message. I was sitting alone in my apartment when my phone vibrated on the table. It was 2 minutes after midnight. At first, I thought it was a message from work. Then I looked at the screen. The name made my body freeze. Mom. I stared at it for several seconds. My mother's phone number had been disconnected after her funeral. No one had used it since then. My hands began to shake. There was one new voice message. I wanted to delete it. I told myself it was a mistake. Perhaps the phone company had given her old number to someone else. But deep inside, I knew I had to listen. I pressed play. For a moment, there was only silence. Then I heard her voice. Emma, please listen carefully. Do not sell the old house. There is something under the kitchen floor. The message ended. I could not breathe. It was her voice. The same soft voice that had called my name every morning. The same voice that had comforted me when I was afraid. But my mother was gone. I played the message again. Do not sell the old house. There is something under the kitchen floor. I called my older brother Daniel. He answered after the fifth ring. Emma, do you know what time it is? I received a message from Mom. He became silent. What did you say? A voice message. From her number. That is impossible. I know, but it is her voice. Daniel took a deep breath. Someone is playing a cruel joke. Delete it and go to sleep. She said there is something under the kitchen floor. This time, Daniel did not answer immediately. Then his voice changed. Stay away from that house, Emma. Why? The house is old and dangerous. We are selling it next week. Do not go there alone. Before I could ask another question, he ended the call. His reaction made me more afraid, but it also made me curious. The next morning, I drove to our old family home. The house stood at the end of a quiet street. The garden was full of dry leaves. The windows were dusty, and the white paint was beginning to fall from the walls. I had not entered the house since my mother died. When I opened the front door, the smell of old wood and dust filled the air. Everything was still there. My mother's coat hung beside the door. Her reading glasses rested on a small table. A family photograph stood near the stairs. In the picture, Daniel and I were children. Our mother was smiling behind us. Our father was not in the photograph. He had left when I was 8 years old. My mother always told us that he did not want a family. She said he had chosen another life and never looked back. I believed her. I walked slowly into the kitchen. The morning light entered through the dirty window. The wooden floor made a soft sound under my feet. I looked at every piece of wood. At first, they all seemed the same. Then I noticed one board near the old kitchen table. It was darker than the others. I knelt and touched it. The board was loose. I found an old knife in a drawer and pushed it under the edge. Just as the board began to lift, I heard the front door open. Emma! Daniel entered the kitchen. His face was red with anger. What are you doing here? I am trying to find out why Mom sent that message. She did not send it. Then how did someone know about this floor? Daniel looked down at the loose board. For a second, I saw fear in his eyes. He quickly covered it with his foot. Leave it alone. What is under there? Nothing that will help you. His answer surprised me. So you know something is there. Daniel looked away. Go home, Emma. No. He stepped closer. Some truths do not make life better, and some lies destroy everything. Daniel's face became cold. You do not understand. Then help me understand. He did not answer. He simply walked out of the kitchen and left the house. That evening, I returned alone. The house felt different at night. Every small sound seemed louder. The wind touched the windows, and the old walls seemed to breathe. I went directly to the kitchen. This time, I lifted the wooden board completely. There was a small metal box underneath it. My heart started beating faster. I pulled the box out and cleaned the dust from its surface. Inside, I found a tape recorder, several letters, and a small silver key. One envelope had my name on it. For Emma. Open when you are ready to know the truth. I sat on the floor and opened it. The letter was written by my mother. My dear Emma, I am sorry. I have carried this secret for many years. I told myself that I was protecting you, but perhaps I was only protecting myself. Your father did not leave because he stopped loving you. I stopped reading. My eyes filled with tears. I read the sentence again. Your father did not leave because he stopped loving you. The letter continued. Your father lost his business and owed a large amount of money. Dangerous men began threatening our family. He believed that leaving was the only way to keep us safe. He promised to return when the danger was gone. But when he tried to come back, I was still angry. I refused to see him. I hid his letters from you and Daniel. I told you that he had forgotten us. That was not true. I covered my mouth with my hand. For 19 years, I had believed that my father did not love me. But the person who had told me that story was my mother. The letter said that the small silver key belonged to a locker at the railway station. I drove there immediately. The station was almost empty. A tired worker showed me where the old lockers were. The key opened locker number 214. Inside, there was a brown bag filled with letters. Dozens of letters. Every envelope had my name or Daniel's name written on it. Some were from when I was 9. Others were from when I was 16. The most recent one had been written only 3 years earlier. My hands trembled as I opened it. My dear Emma, today is your 24th birthday. I do not know where you are or what your life looks like now. I wonder if you still laugh when you are nervous. I wonder if you still love chocolate cake. I have written to you every year. I do not know if your mother gives you these letters. I want you to know one thing. I never stopped loving you. I only stopped believing that you would want to see me. At the bottom of the letter, there was an address. My father was alive. I called Daniel. He arrived at the station 30 minutes later. When he saw the letters, he closed his eyes. You knew, I said. Daniel slowly nodded. How long? 5 years. I felt as if the floor had disappeared under me. You knew Dad was alive? Yes. And you said nothing? I found one of his letters after Mom became sick. I contacted him. Why didn't you tell me? Daniel looked at me with tears in his eyes. Because Mom asked me not to. You chose her lie over me. I was afraid you would hate her. She was dying, Emma. She regretted everything. So you wanted to sell the house and destroy the truth? No. I wanted to protect your memory of her. You were not protecting me. You were controlling what I was allowed to know. Daniel began to cry. I am sorry. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Then I showed him the address. We are going to see him. The next afternoon, Daniel and I drove 3 hours to a small town near the coast. Our father lived in a simple house with a blue door. I stood outside, unable to move. Daniel knocked. An old man opened the door. His hair was white, his shoulders were thin, but I recognized his eyes. They were the same eyes I saw every morning in the mirror. He looked at Daniel first. Then he looked at me. His face changed. Emma? I could not speak. He placed one hand over his mouth. You look just like your mother. I had imagined this moment many times as a child. I had imagined shouting at him. I had imagined asking why he had left. I had imagined closing the door in his face, but now I only saw an old man who had been waiting for years. "Did Mom finally tell you?" he asked. I shook my head. "No, she helped me find the truth." He began to cry. I stepped forward and hugged him. At first, his arms remained at his sides. Then he held me tightly, as if he was afraid I might disappear. We stayed there for a long time. Later, he showed us photographs he had kept. He had pictures from our school years, our birthdays, and Daniel's graduation. He had followed our lives from a distance. He had never forgotten us. That evening, I listened to the tape recorder from the metal box. It contained one final message from my mother. "Emma, sometimes love makes us protect people, and sometimes fear makes us hide the truth. I cannot change what I did. I can only ask you to forgive me. Please, do not let my mistake keep this family apart." I cried when the message ended. I was angry with my mother. I was angry with Daniel. I was angry with my father for staying away for so long. But beneath all that anger, there was still love. The old house was not sold. Daniel and I repaired it together. My father came to help whenever he was strong enough. We could not recover the lost years, but we could decide what to do with the years that remained. That night, my mother's message did not bring her back. It brought the truth back. And sometimes the truth is painful, but a painful truth can heal a family more than a comfortable lie ever will.